3, 2, 1.
Hey! Hey, everyone, and welcome to the JKA Star Wars podcast, brought to you by JKAgear.com. Go check it out for all your sweet Star Wars swag and news and other stuff. They do a lot of stuff. I finally looked at the site. They do a lot more than I thought. I was talking with Kevin the other day, and he told me something that I did not know. Did you guys know there's a new Star Wars movie coming out? I had no idea, right?
I found out on jkagear.com.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well,
Nice.
it is good for us for creating this podcast.
Being ahead of the game.
What a time.
Announcing it
What a
here
time
first.
to be alive.
New Star Wars movie. Anyway, I want to do just like a recap of what we know and try to, as Star Wars fans, try to delve deeper and just go into stuff the internet hasn't already claimed and figured out. So give me new stuff. I have not prepared for this. I'm just depending on you guys to prepare for
Right.
this.
So you want us to come up with stuff that the internet has not done, but we get all our information from the internet.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
The cyclical
I-
cycle.
I can fabricate things.
Okay, good. That's all I
So
want.
you
is
just want
straight
pure
lies.
speculation.
Just
In
lies
this movie.
and speculation.
Good.
I want to start off with specifically the characters because Star Wars is its characters, and the characters are Star Wars toys, and that's all I care about. So I want to talk about what we know of the characters so far and what we think of the characters that we know from the original series, what we think their relationships are to each other. So characters, go. Any interesting theories on them?
So Finn might be a stormtrooper.
So Finn might be a stormtrooper. Trevor's not allowed back on the podcast. Kevin, can you make note of that? No Trevor on the podcast.
Okay,
All
got
right,
it.
good.
Sorry, Trevor.
Yeah.
I didn't even just lose a point
Yeah,
like Brandon.
you just
I'm
know.
just off.
Okay, go.
Yeah,
Fine. If
he
it
did
makes you
way
feel
worse
better-
things than you.
Yeah, for sure. If it makes you feel better, you lose a point and you're off the podcast.
That makes me feel
Oh
so bad.
man, that's double. That's
It's
bad.
really rough.
Earn your way
Watch
back,
what I
Trevor.
say. Matt is a tyrant today. Be careful, everybody.
He didn't even introduce anyone.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot, guys.
Oh, I noticed, but I was like,
you're not
are we
even
just
people
blowing
in
past
why didn't anybody mention
Because
that?
it felt
Well, I'm
like,
mentioning
you're
it
just
now.
taking
Here
us
I
in a
am.
new direction.
Yeah, no,
Nobody
it's a new
gets to
direction.
know who we are.
Today on the podcast, we have Macalupo.
Trevor Adams.
AJ Helfet.
And Kevin Burke.
All right. Question.
Back
Great.
to the Star Wars.
Yeah.
I thought one of the most interesting things that I read about the new movie is about Luke, and that I read somewhere that he's been like a recluse for like 10 to 15 years.
Sure.
And he's kind of just living like as like a hermit. He's turned into Yoda.
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah, Yoda or Obi-Wan on Tatooine. Yeah, they just like, oh, most of my friends died. I'll be by myself.
Yeah.
That's
So
what they do.
what are the implications of him being a recluse? One, it seems like we won't get a Jedi Order. Like I feel like that must not exist because if he's being reclusive, no one's training new Jedi. So no Jedi in the new thing, or at least no formal Jedi.
Yeah, I guess that would have to be
right?
the if we're assuming that Luke is not starting his own, like you said, Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
Then there would be no new Jedi. Maybe that's a decision Luke makes, is that the world was better off without Jedi. Or something?
Which
Which would be an interesting decision.
What basis would he have to make that decision off of, though? But yeah, he could. He could. Also, you could just be like, I don't know enough to train a new Jedi. I barely got here myself.
Yeah.
I
Right,
need to
but
go
if he
figure stuff
has
out.
the Force ghosts of Obi-Wan, Anakin Skywalker, and Yoda guiding him, he could absolutely start a new Jedi Order if that's something that they wanted. And maybe because this is 35 years after after the last movie, maybe he tried. Maybe he tried for 15 years and just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
He
and
couldn't
then-
find potential students. Maybe he found potential students and they just didn't work out. And after 15 years, he's like, fuck it. I'm going to go to a hut.
Also, if I had all of those Force ghosts following me around all
Yeah.
the time, I'd go crazy. 100%.
You just stop masturbating completely.
Because you're always being
so quickly went there.
Oh my gosh, that's really funny.
As a celibate Jedi, what are your top concerns?
Are Jedi celibate? Do we know that? Well, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I
for
take
sure,
it back.
for sure
I
they
take
are. Yeah,
it
yeah.
back.
But I mean, that'd be hilarious if like he was trying to set up a Jedi Order, like a new school, but like couldn't get the permits for it, or like he just like didn't know how to like actually run a school. That's the Star Wars teen rom-com I'd want to watch.
Yeah. And also, if like for founding members of the school, so you have Luke, moisture, whatever, farmer. So like not a great founding member, but like his advisory board is like Yoda, who like presided over the Jedi Order as it fell apart. Obi-Wan, who had the person who like tutored the person who killed the Jedi Order, and the person who killed the Jedi Order. It's not a great team.
The dream
to build
team.
back the
Can you
Jedi
imagine
Order.
showing up to school and having one teacher's like, no, the rest of your teachers are ghosts.
You can't see them, but they're here.
I guess technically there is Obi-Wan. He's not a Force ghost, but we have not Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon Jinn. He's not a Force ghost, but we have his voice. That's.
Do you want to clarify that,
So
Matt?
Is
that,
he
yeah,
a
I
Force
guess I
ghost?
should. I guess I should. Well, I guess he's a ghost voice, so he doesn't have this. In the Clone Wars, towards the end of the Clone Wars, when Yoda
TV show, the
learns,
Clone
yeah,
Wars
the
TV show.
learns how to become Force Ghost. He learns through Obi-Wan, and like Obi-Wan can't materialize his form because he was kind of like figuring it out himself. But now he helps.
Do you mean
them
Qui-Gon Jinn
figure out.
couldn't materialize?
God damn it. I keep doing this. Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon
You're
Jinn
just a
couldn't
mess
figure it out.
today.
Yeah, it's all over the place. today.
Guys, it's up to
all
us.
over the place.
Oh, God.
So I feel like
We got to
we've-
step up
we've-
here.
We're doomed.
Yeah, I know. You guys, yeah, relying on you guys. So we covered Luke. Let's move on to the other Skywalker, because there is another Skywalker.
Who?
That's my Yoda impression. Leia.
Leia is head of the now called Resistance.
Yeah, so do we think she's leading the Resistance?
I think so.
Yeah.
I had also heard that Poe Dameron, is that his name? Dameron Poe?
Yeah.
Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron.
Yeah, so his mission at the beginning was given to him by Princess Leia. So
Okay.
he's one of the main characters, but his story is initiated by her. Yeah.
That makes sense. Do we think just to
So-
be yeah.
Oh,
you
sorry.
go.
So I guess if we're talking that there's still a resistance, that means that in this world the Empire hasn't been completely toppled in some form or
It
fashion.
has
No.
it just changed into
feel
the
like
First Order.
The First Order, I guess, is
Okay.
that.
Well,
but also, then the rebellion has changed into
The Resistance.
Which is why did the rebellion change, or
Which-
is this a new thing?
Sure. Which, to me, that's a downgrade. If you have a resistance, that means you don't have an open rebellion. Like just use World War II as an example, because both of them have stormtroopers. Like in France, there wasn't a French rebellion. There was a French resistance. Like there wasn't open armed conflict. There was subterfuge and covert plots. So do we think that's going to be, just like extrapolating off those names, do we think that's going to be the new Star Wars? That we're not going to see these huge open fights, that it's going to be more about covert missions?
And, like,
or
tiny
is that just
skirmishes.
a name?
Knowing things about blockbuster movies,
Yes.
I'm going to assume that there are going to be very big fight scenes.
So just a name
Yeah.
is what you're thinking.
Can you imagine spending all of that money and all of that hype just to like stealthily watch people sneak around?
yeah. Just miscommunication and code. So why the name change then? Why the name change?
Well, I guess it's because the Empire isn't as formidable as it was before, maybe.
Oh, so they're like, all right, well, the Empire's not as formidable, so we can step down.
We
a few
can
notches.
downgrade.
Rather than upgrading themselves to a republic. It's like, oh, if the Empire's downgrading, we have to downgrade.
That's just fair,
Yeah,
guys.
guys.
Can that be
We
unfair
don't,
if we did
yeah,
anything
exactly.
The arms manufacturers are behind it, guys.
Yeah.
They need the war.
Well, also because it's the First Order, right?
Yeah.
And there was once a Jedi Order. There isn't anymore. The Jedi Order was not like far-reaching. I don't know, government or anything. It was just a collection of peoples of similar ideals that went around the galaxy spreading their message. So the First Order could be kind of that. It's this collection of people who follow the ideals of great people like Darth Vader and want to spread his goodwill to all the colonies.
Excuse me, do you have time to talk about Chancellor Palpatine?
Actually, that makes a lot of sense to me, because we do see Force users within the First Order, so it makes sense that okay, maybe this is some type of Force sensitive like hierarchy existing here. And it makes sense that they'd be spreading an ideal, because they're like, look at the stability that the Empire brought. Because they're probably just coming out of 30 years of a power vacuum in like this huge civil war with multiple factions on either side. So it's like, oh no, this is actually someone establishing order.
Yep.
They're the first ones
first.
to
The
do
first
it.
ones, yeah. Well said.
We were all there. So yeah, no, that does make sense to me. I can get behind the First Order. The Resistance, I still don't understand why they're not pressing their advantage, but sure.
The Resistance. No,
Yeah.
First Order, stop.
We found out that they were on Endor for like 15 years, just like partying.
These Ewoks know how to do it, man.
And they're like, oh, we should figure this out.
Oh, do we have other things to do?
Form a
Oh yeah,
system
we
of
should
government.
fix the galaxy.
Yeah, Forbes. Yeah, yeah. So we did Leia. What about her? I guess presumed husband. They don't get married, right? Do they get married? They don't get married.
We don't see
Yeah,
that.
we don't see that get married. Unless, I mean, I don't speak Ewok. Maybe some Ewoks married them without their knowledge. But yeah, what about Han? What do we think about Han?
I think Han and Chewie have been just fucking partying. I think he tried it with Leia, and they did like a Three's Company thing
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like him, Leia, and Chewie for a while. It was too much for her. There was always hair in the sink, and she called it quits. And they've been out in the world ever since.
Wait, which one of them is Tony Danza?
That's who's the boss.
That's
But thank you for
it,
playing.
yeah.
Kevin.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
John Ritter.
John
We
Ritter.
were looking for John
Oh,
Ritter.
Thank you.
And John Ritter is Leia in this scenario, and then the two ladies are
Yeah.
Han and Chewie.
No, I got that.
Makes perfect sense now.
So, I mean, beyond that, funny. There was an actual
Hilarious.
There was
Trevor,
an,
you're so
yeah,
funny.
Yeah, right. There was an actual
So good.
point, which is Luke and Leia still together. No is the answer to that one. Luke and Leia are not still together. Han
be
and
gross.
Leia, are they still together? I think no.
I think I've maybe brought this up before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, their whole relationship has been created and cultivated in a war atmosphere, and I feel like they're both people that just kind of thrive on that. And then the war's not over,
Yeah, yeah.
but you know, when it gets time to settle down, I just picture them just like sitting in a room, just like, what do we do now? Being really awkward.
Yeah. Han coming back like bruised and bloody. He's like, "Are you smuggling again? I swear I'm not smuggling. This is our marriage. We need to work on
how I
this."
feel
Yeah,
alive.
yeah.
I just picture a time. It's just again the three of them sitting around a table because I'm stuck on this idea,
Yeah.
and it's just Leia looking at the digital paper. How was your day? Will you get off my back, woman? Just awkwardly looking at each other, constantly angry that they're keeping each other in the house.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me out in the universe. There's so much to
So we don't picture any kind of a good marriage. For
No.
them.
I
In any universe.
I don't.
Okay.
I also think that a part of the new film is that Han and Chewie don't have the Millennium Falcon anymore, and that they're
extrapolated from the.
We're home.
they're trying to get it back. Is a plot point.
Sure.
I think.
Maybe they just lost it to Lando again. The Millennium Falcon for the past 30 years has just passed back
If
and forth.
Lando Calrissian is in this movie, I will fucking lose it. I would be so happy.
Well, that brings up Lando and Cloud City bring up an interesting point that Trevor and I were talking about before the podcast. And it's kind of an older theory, but Trevor, would you like to...
So the new planet that we've seen in the trailers is not Tatooine. It is Jakku. And
Yep.
and so spoiler alert warning. What do we say?
I feel like we're before the movie, so no.
Okay.
I guess maybe.
well, no,
Why
I'm
are you
about
watching the podcast about what we know about The Force Awakens if you
Because I
don't want to
horribly
know?
mistitled this podcast. And they have no idea what they're talking about.
I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
spoiler
Look,
alert.
we've
but-
seen the movie. Here's what happens.
Yeah.
So the plot starts when Ren and Finn find presumably Rey, not Ren. Thank you to
Thank
our
you,
director.
giving
Ray.
us
Yeah.
the
Finn and
giving
Ray.
us the Finn and Ray.
Finn and Ren though, it's so much fun. All right,
Is it?
Ray.
No,
Kylo
I like
Ren.
Ray.
JJ, it's fine.
Yeah, Kylo
Um,
Ren. There is
yeah.
a Ren.
Okay, that's why I was all messed up.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think so.
Finn and Rey.
There are plenty of other reasons, Trevor.
Okay, so the two of those people whose names I will not say again for the rest of the podcast.
We'll just put them up on the screen.
these
We
two
are not going to
people.
put them up on the screen. I'm sorry.
You just pointed at nothing and looked like an idiot.
I pointed at my knees. Why did I do that?
I'm so sorry. Continue. Yes.
They find a lightsaber and a hand. Whose hand? Well, there's only a couple people in the universe who have lost their hands that
Only
we've
a
seen.
couple.
What?
So if we see a hand and a lightsaber, we can be led to believe that it's Luke's lightsaber and Luke's hand. And if that's the case, he lost both of those things on Cloud City. So Jakku might be underneath Cloud City, which if it's not, how did they get there? How did those two things make it across the galaxy to this desert planet?
Yeah. So the severed hand theory has been like something that's been online for a while. Like there was the hands in space joke for a while. Like there was this thing about something with the severed hand. I don't know how it got out there. I should have done that research before the podcast, but like I couldn't really find it. I don't know like where that started. But yeah, severed hand is supposed to supposedly be in the movie.
Right. If it's not and it's just a lightsaber, still.
I'd say the lightsaber. I think that's cool and much more likely. Wouldn't a hand decompose after 30
it would be
years?
bones.
So this is my theory on the hand. I don't know. So one Bespin. Let's talk about Bespin for a moment. So though it's true, it could be below Cloud City, Bespin. At least in the extended universe, which I know has been wiped, Bespin is supposed to be just a gas giant.
Yeah.
In which it kind of looks that way, but Bespin's supposed to be a gas giant, and so there would be no surface. But maybe they're wiping that, and it just has a lot of atmosphere. Though Jakku does not look to have a lot of atmosphere. So my theory is when we see Jakku, we see like a lot of war debris. Like we see the Star Destroyer, we see the X-wings and stuff. So I think it's actually debris from the Battle of Endor, possibly from like the Death Star exploding. And if it's from the Death Star exploding, we would have whose severed hand would it be? It would be
Darth Vader's.
Vader's.
Yeah.
So it'd be finding Vader's lightsaber in Vader's severed hand
which would still exist.
Which would still exist and not decompose. And also, this is another extended universe thing, but it's the idea that Vader is endowed with so much like dark side energy that his hand becomes like a relic. And if you notice, he blocks lightning bolts, right? In 5 and 6 with his glove. And it's not so much that he's using the Force to absorb them, but it's that his armor can absorb them. Like it's like he's kind of funneled the Force to make like his armor and stuff indestructible. So it's like the glove is actually indestructible, and he's just using Jedi reflexes to use his hand to block
And stop blaster shots.
Yeah. So I could see it being, and then like that would cause an issue because you've like uncovered this dark side relic that presumably the First Order's probably looking for.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and like the saber of Vader could be great because
you almost got like
a Sith Lord.
Yeah, you almost have an Indiana Jones thing going on where the
For
Nazis
sure.
are looking for these ancient relics to try and increase their power.
Well, that's
awesome.
Kylo Ren's backstory, right? It's he is like obsessed with the Sith and is like collecting Sith
I
relics.
think specifically Vader.
So
I think he's a Vader fanatic.
So let's talk about Kylo Ren right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I had heard. I mean, in the trailer, you see Vader's kind of messed up helmet.
Yeah.
It looks really messed up. It's definitely worse than it did before.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been like
After being
35 years.
burned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did get burned.
So, and I guess maybe go back to the hand thing.
Yeah.
I also thought that a big part of the plot was trying to find Luke and trying to find out where he is because they need his help for whatever reason.
Sure.
So I was thinking, I had the hand and the saber thing. I thought maybe like finding those somehow were a way to like find him. Like his hands like still connected to him through the Force. That'd be gross. It'd be like a monkey's paw or something like that. It's like
3 wishes.
It's like where's Luke? And then it like points.
His hand is a dowsing rod for his
exactly.
location.
It's wherever Luke is because it's so connected to the Force. That'd be gross.
So one of the theories that I've read regarding Kylo Ren is that he and Rey are brother and sister, and they're Han and Leia's kids.
Oh.
And so it's like Darth Vader is like his grandfather.
Okay.
And so he's like, and so I have this theory that just based on that and some things that I've read, that Kylo Ren is actually like Luke's nephew and this guy who tried to, be trained in the Force and actually went dark side and it went wrong.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
like that
so
a lot.
like kind of keep it in the family, and you also still have like that brother-sister relationship present, but they would know it this time. And so kind of it makes the family dynamic a little more interesting.
Sure, that's interesting too because it's like Luke failed as a teacher, which then makes sense why he would go into hiding and be like, no, I'm a failure at this. I should not do this.
So he turned into
I see that.
Obi-Wan.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
essentially. So, quick aside, the Darth Vader helmet Milton and Gross, right?
Yes.
If I was Darth Vader and I fell into a pit of lava and I got to design armor, that's like the one thing I'd say. And I'd be like, no, guys, make it fireproof. I don't want to do that again. Sorry to derail the conversation. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's a great point.
to be
Yeah.
to be fair, it did survive like the explosion of a Death Star. So
No, Luke takes it
he
all.
pulled
it off
on
on
the
the
little-
little-
Yeah, Luke
and
burns it
remember,
on
then just burns
Endor.
it. Yeah.
Well,
We
sorry,
were
that's
all
the
very
third
quick
moon
to
of
jump
Endor,
on that.
right?
No,
It's the
I-
forest
I-
moon of Endor.
It's the
Absolutely
forest
right.
moon
Yeah,
of
it's
Endor,
not
yeah.
actually Endor.
So it's not the Endor
So
planet.
yeah, would
It's the forest moon
Jaka
of-
be a planet that's nearby then?
Yeah, it could be
Is
in
that,
the,
is that your
the-
theory
I guess
on that?
the Endor system,
Okay.
if you will. Right? Yeah. It could be.
Oh,
in the
I don't know
Endor
if
system.
it's I just the forest moon of Endor is
Yeah.
all I've ever heard of it.
In my head, I'm like, no, all the planets in that system need to have forests. That's not how planets work.
No, it's not.
That's not how. That's not how.
Matt, have you been to a planet
yeah, I have never. Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer for The Martian?
Yeah.
before?
That wait. That's in our solar system.
You know what? But we are part of. Okay, so you say that, but we are part of Star Wars universe because of the ET connection that we've seen. So
Oh, you mean
That's
yeah?
true.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the same galaxy.
It
Yeah,
was
Star
a
Wars.
long, long time ago,
yeah, well, in
In
a
a
galaxy,
galaxy
far,
far away.
Right.
but not like in a galaxy in a different different reality from
Yeah.
ours. It's like, oh no, it was just a long time ago.
So it's like ET are pan-galactic beings
Yeah.
and have visited our galaxy.
and they've
Our
survived
Just a
planet.
long time ago when the galaxies were closer together.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so I feel like we've covered all.
Oh,
almost
actually,
all the, yeah.
Oh no,
go
no,
for it.
no. This no. Okay, so Kylo. Something I read about Kylo Ren that I really liked.
Okay.
Was that somebody had said that when we meet him, he's not like a fully developed like character, not fully developed character, but like he hasn't like grown to his full potential yet. So we're still seeing him figure shit out.
Sure.
About being a force wielder and a lightsaber wielder. And somebody described his lightsaber. He made himself as like brutal and cunning and jagged as he is.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of pieced together. It's not perfect. It looks a little funky, and that's because that's where he is. He's erratic. He's not like he's still got room to grow. And I like the idea of seeing development in a villain, not just like we see Vader. Vader is Vader. Vader is Vader all the way through, and he doesn't really change until like the very end, and he has like an arc. But the character himself, he doesn't change. He just kind of like he goes through some stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy, we might get to see him like go through stuff and change the way we'd see a protagonist do.
Yeah.
The way we'd see them learn and evolve and change and grow. And I'm just excited at the possibility of seeing that in a villain for once.
Yeah, I feel like Star Wars, we see a lot of people fall into the dark side.
Mhm.
We don't see a lot of people redeemed from the dark side.
Yeah.
I guess with the exception of Vader at the very end, if you take that read.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be really cool to see this like reversal of
I'm not even saying
action.
Ren coming back from the dark
Oh,
side.
you're
I'm
just
saying just
him
growing in the dark side
perfecting
and
the dark
perfect, and we
side.
see him
That's
start from a
interesting.
not a Padawan, but like maybe a Jedi Knight to a Jedi Master, but on the other side of the fence.
Sure.
Which is kind of neat.
Are we assuming that this is what I assume? But tell me if maybe this is wrong.
We'll
that-
tell you if you're wrong.
Thank you. Is that Kylo Ren is kind of going to be like the main bad guy throughout the next few films, and that Domhnall Gleeson, what was his character?
Domhnall Gleeson, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What is his character's name?
General Hux.
General Hux is kind of going to be like the Peter Cushing of like the first movie, kind of like
Grand Moff Tarkin. Is that who
Yep.
Peter
Yeah.
Cushing is? Okay.
and like he's going to be one of the main bad guys of this movie, but
Yeah.
probably not going to extend through the next couple films.
We get to see him blow up in some kind of ship at the end.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's exactly. What I mean.
Yay.
Is that what do you think?
I don't know because they've been touting the three like big bad guys.
Gwendolyn Christie as Captain
Captain
Phasma.
Phasma.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Captain Phasma, then the other one, and then Kylo Ren.
So this is going to be me kind of cheating and
Yeah.
analyzing this, and we talk about this on other podcasts. But the toys, I think, give it away. We're seeing Kylo Ren's face on every the background of every toy where it used to be Darth Vader's. So that makes me feel that Kylo Ren is the new Vader.
Here to
It'll
stay.
just be interesting to see, I guess, a villain that has weaknesses and flaws. Like they can be exploited. Where like Vader was like very much cold, calculating, unstoppable force. It'll be weird to see a more erratic villain.
Also, Vader was, for the most part, like doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff, sending troops out, and then only intervening when it was like
The most desperate time.
right. Whereas it seems like Kylo Ren might be more of a front lines guy, which is also super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because we get to see him more, he gets to do a lot more damage. And it's also very personal because every time it happens, it's not like, oh, Vader sent some stormtroopers after us. It's Kylo Ren almost killed us again.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess for Kylo Ren, and I guess we can move on after my awesome point. But
Make it
This
count.
better be good. Matt.
I don't want to see him related to the Skywalker family. I kind of want to start getting beyond that because that's been so much of everything has been like, this is the first family of the galaxy. And I feel like the galaxy's a little bit bigger than, one family.
Matt, I am going to agree with you completely. This was something I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want Rey to be I don't want Rey to be like the daughter of Han and Leia. I'm okay if they didn't have kids and that we're meeting new people who are just going through some stuff and maybe they have some abilities of their own. I'm in for a non Skywalker adventure. That's okay for me because the ghost of Vader still haunts us. Not literally. Oh my God! If Anakin's in this movie, I'm gonna be. If the Force ghost of Anakin Skywalker comes to anybody at any point, I'm gonna be so mad.
He pops up like, get out of here, God!
No, because you've got Kylo Ren kind of trying to embody Vader and follow his ideals. He fashioned his helmet after him because he's like, oh, this is the kind of thing that I want people to think about me. What a weirdo.
I love that that's what he copies on Vader. It's not like, oh, like the complete like presence and self-control. It's that helmet. That's a cool helmet.
I like his
Yeah.
hat. Give me his hat. I
I'm
make my hat
gonna,
like him.
I'm gonna disagree with you guys.
What is Rise?
I'm actually very excited to see like a continuation of the characters that we already know.
Oh, yeah?
Just because I think it's the 7th movie.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes it more personal because it's an extension of the characters that we already like so much.
Sure.
By seeing like, oh, what happened to their families,
Yeah.
like their extended families. And I mean, clearly they're all very important people.
Yeah.
And I think I am very excited to see new people and out of the people that we already know. But I think that's kind of what they're doing with the anthology films, right? Is they're creating the new worlds and characters that are outside of like the originals.
Sure.
It seems like the anthology films are filling in like info within the existing story, very closely related to.
Yeah,
the
but we are
originals.
getting like new characters in them. Like Rogue One is an ensemble piece where I'm assuming we're going to recognize one character, and that's going to kind of be a Leia.
Gotcha.
Leia is that character. But I actually, you may have convinced me because the cool part about that is when like you can take your kids to this movie, like so the older generation can take their kids to this movie, and it's like, oh, we're literally watching the next generation of Star Wars with the next generation of Star Wars fans.
Yep.
Is kind of
It
a
can be a
really
handoff.
cool,
Again.
touching experience.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Trevor does not like touching experiences.
That's not true, Kevin.
All right. Some of the new characters. So we did cover John.
Just right on
oh my gosh.
my lower area.
This is what
John
happens when you bring
Boyega.
up touching experiences,
Yeah.
Kevin.
So I want to bring up John Boyega. You said him at the beginning. But
Oh,
let's
Finn.
actually get into it. Yeah, Finn. John Boyega is the actor. Yeah, Finn.
Yes.
Finn, the stormtrooper.
Yeah.
One, do we think he's a stormtrooper?
Yes.
I think he's hiding. I think he's hiding
I
in
also
that, and
do.
he's like escaping because he
So-
looks so out of place and
So,
everything.
Perfect. We're 50-50.
You guys are wrong.
They've done a great job.
Because I think it'd be more interesting to see a stormtrooper who realizes what he's doing is wrong and switches sides.
I say everything he just said again and louder.
Thank you, Trevor.
I think it would be more interesting as well. I just don't think they're necessarily going to do that.
I think he's just someone who's on the run. I think
Yeah.
I think he's on the run. He's doing what he can. I don't know. Oh, hey, Kelly, how's it going? I think that's what we want. And also, John Boyega, fantastic actor. Really excited to have him in there. If you guys haven't seen Attack the Block, which is like
So
his breakout
good.
movie,
So good.
amazing. Also sci-fi.
Also, yeah, exactly. But Oh, I had a point, and it's gone now. Bye. Sorry.
Solid work, AJ.
All
right.
God.
Well, we're getting close. Okay.
Okay.
Point.
Yes. What if we talked about Lando earlier?
Yeah.
What if Finn is Lando's son?
What makes you draw that conclusion, Trevor?
Because he's so handsome.
Sure. Could be. But also, to be fair to Trevor, we have seen maybe like 3 or 4 black people in the Star Wars universe.
Thank you for being.
He could
fair
be
to
any
me.
one of their
and,
sons.
And like, yeah, so it's like probably, I guess, yeah, when you see that, it's like, okay, it's either like there's we've seen Mace Windu, we've seen that captain from Naboo. I don't remember his name. And we've seen Lando Calrissian. What is that captain from? I don't know his name.
And okay, so what if Jakku, going back to it, is underneath Cloud City? And what if that's where he's stationed because he was from Cloud City? And what if there was a huge falling out between Lando and his son Finn when Finn is like, "I'm gonna go join the First Order, Dad," and Lando's like, "No, son, this deal's getting worse all the time. You can't do that to me. You don't know what I've been through. Yeah, Dad, you told me the stories, but these guys are new and cool and different, and they're gonna do things differently, and we need some order in the galaxy. And don't tell me what to do."
Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Adams, available for episode 8 of Star Wars.
I am.
Okay.
Also, but another black person, Han's first wife.
Yeah, so
Oh.
that's, yeah, I guess we're close to time, but continue on that point.
Are we really?
Yeah.
I feel like we've
Yeah.
talked about nothing.
Welcome to the JKA Star Wars podcast, where we
We
usually
talk about nothing.
So yeah, Hans first wife in the comic books that have been coming out recently that are now canon.
Yeah.
Han's first wife appears out of nowhere. It turns out he's still married. Oh no, or like.
He is married to her. Yeah.
Estranged,
Estranged.
but still married.
But she's African American. So what if
Yeah, yeah.
John Boyega is actually Han and her son?
Right? And then Rey is half-sister.
Would she be technically African galactic?
Yeah. It would not be African American.
Well
But
said.
African
African
would still
is
be
also
in there.
wrong.
Yeah, that's no.
Africa's everywhere, guys.
All right, that's on Africa is everywhere. Thank you. That is all the time we have for today's podcast. On the podcast today, we had Macalupo.
Trevor Adams, and you can find me at Howlett, HOWIETT, on Twitter.
Nice.
AJ Helfet, you can follow me at AJ Helfet on Twitter and Instagram.
Kevin Burke. I'm at Kevin with a KEVIN, Twitter and Instagram. Also, I think we want to talk real quick. Real quick.
Yes.
About what we're gonna do when the Star Wars movie comes out.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
think this is a
Urinate.
good time for an announcement.
Yes.
My pants.
Yes.
Out of
Yeah.
excitement.
Well, Kevin, since you brought it up, why don't you just take us through?
Sure.
plan.
So Star Wars movie comes out midnight, December 18th. So the very first moment of December 18th. We, as the JKA podcast, some members of us will be going to see the movie at midnight and then going to do a podcast directly after. So look for a release shortly after the movie comes out. We will be on it.
Yes, like next day, hopefully.
Yeah.
We are far enough out. I will 100% commit to this.
I'm in.
All right. Thanks, guys. Go check out JKA Gear for all your sweet Star Wars needs. This has been the JKA podcast, and we're out.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching that episode of the JKA podcast brought to you by JKAgear.com. Go check it out for all your sweet Star Wars needs. Today on the podcast, we had Matt Galupo. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Galupo.
Trevor Adams, you can follow me at Howlett, HOWIETT.
AJ Helfet, you can follow me at AJ Helfet.
And Kevin Burke. I'm at Kevin with a KEVIN, Twitter and Instagram.
All right. So we do have a special announcement today. One, please subscribe. Hopefully that's up somewhere. But other than that, we are doing a contest for our fans.
Yes.
I added a plural to that.
That was
So
aggressive.
hopefully we have fans. Where we are giving away a copy of Star Wars Battlefront 3. We are going to Kevin for the details.
Yes, details. So JKA Gear, our parent site, is giving away a copy of Battlefront 3, as Matt said. All you have to do to be entered for the contest is send us your best Star Wars impersonation. Any character you want, send it to us. We'll have a link available for you to upload it to. And subscribe to this podcast. That's it. That's
Those
all
are
you
the two
got to do.
things.
Are we gonna copies of Star Wars?
What do you mean?
Battlefront 3? Do we get Battlefront
Do
3?
we get
'Cause
Battlefront
that
3?
would be super sweet.
I mean, if you guys enter and win, do you guys have good Star Wars impersonations?
Based on this podcast,
Give me your best
I
Star
think-
Wars
Yeah,
impersonations right
let's
now.
see their Star
Yeah.
Wars
well,
impersonations.
we've got pretty good odds because if you have to subscribe,
Trevor,
they're only
Trevor,
like
show me
40
Boba
people.
Fett right now. What's your best Boba Fett? Tight.
That was a really good Boba Fett.
Wow,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that was great.
Compete with that.
It's a strong contender.
Yeah, Star Wars impersonation. Go.
Well, I've done many impersonations on this podcast, so
Yeah.
I think my talent is clear.
Speaks for
It
itself.
speaks for itself.
It doesn't. They're
Wait,
all awful.
wait.
It's really bad.
They're really awful.
That's a trap.
Jabba the Hutt.
All right. Good job, everybody.
That's it. We're out.
Bye.